I just want to give you a minute to settle in, find a spot to sit down, grab your tea, grab your water, grab your coffee. I always have my coffee ready for the webinars. Welcome everybody, happy Thursday. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. As always, today we're going to be talking about how to create a positive work culture and quality of leadership team at your center. Very important topic, and I'm sure one that absolutely everybody on this webinar can relate to. One thing that I just want to remind everybody about before we get started is that everybody who is joining us live today will be receiving a certificate of participation for being here with us today. The certificates will be sent out by early next week, okay? So do not worry if you don't see it today. You might not even see it tomorrow. We will get those certificates. Celebrating. I've had any fun activities. Welcome everybody. Happy Thursday. If you are just joining us, take a minute to settle in. We're going to get started. Today we're talking about how to create a positive work culture and quality leadership team. So let's dive in so we can take advantage of our full hour together. First things first, if you need any help lesson planning, we are here for you. If you find it hard to find time for your staff to do program planning, or if you're an educator on here and you're bringing work home with you quite often, do not hesitate to get some activities from our Hi Mama activities database. There are hundreds of activities in there for you. You can filter by age, by domain, by theme, what your children are interested in that week. And you can also save activities for you to use again. Ones that you know were really popular in your classroom, you can save for later use. So Morgan will post a link in the chat so that you can go ahead and access our Hi Mama activities, and you can also get them sent right to your inbox on a weekly basis, which is awesome. Now, as always, before we get started, we do just want to start off with a quick disclaimer that the content and information that we are sharing with you today is not personalized, legal, or financial advice. So the idea today is that you will leave this webinar gaining really helpful tips, tricks, and strategies for your classroom, for your center, for your homes even. Though if you are looking at making any big changes at your center, we just want to make sure you know that you do still need to consult the right people, such as a legal or a financial advisor. Now, before we get started, we are going to give a listen to our land acknowledgement.
Hi Mama acknowledges that our main headquarters is situated in Toronto, Ontario, on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. Toronto itself is a word that originates from the Mohawk word takaranto, meaning the place in the water where the trees are standing. As participants and guests in today's webinar, we are coming together from many different places around the world. We encourage you to learn about and acknowledge the land from which you participate.
And we are now going to give a listen to our diversity and inclusion statement.
Hi Mama is committed to fostering an inclusive and welcoming environment for our employees, customers, and community. Hi Mama welcomes and celebrates individuals of all backgrounds, orientations, and identities. Our Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee aims to ensure we provide a safe environment for everyone to thrive while bringing their authentic selves to work. Our mission is to promote an inclusive workspace for all employees through education, discussion, and celebration of our differences. Embracing these differences while coming together with a common purpose is what makes our team extra special.
Okay, and a few housekeeping pieces before we get started. As always, this session is recorded, so if anything does come up and you do have to pop off suddenly, do not worry, we are recording and we will send you the recording in the show notes email by early next week. As well, if you do need to turn on the closed captions, do make sure that you hit that CC tab on your Zoom, and also know that we are recording with the CC turned on as well. In terms of certificates, so again, for everyone who is attending our live webinar today, you will receive a certificate of participation for being here with us today. So do not worry if you don't see the certificate today or even tomorrow. We will absolutely get those certificates out to you by early next week. As well, if you are having any issues at all with your Zoom, we certainly hope that you aren't, but if anything does come up, we just want to make sure that you're consulting the right people who can support you. So if you do have any issues, just be sure that you reach out to support.zoom.us and they will be able to help you. And hi, Mama. If you have not heard of us before, then welcome. Please let me know in the chat if this is the first time you're joining us at a Hi Mama Helps webinar. We're so excited that you found us. On top of being an amazing professional development community with our webinars and our podcasts, we are a childcare management app. So Hi Mama was designed to support the lives of really busy administrators, directors, families, and educators and make your lives as easy as possible. So in Hi Mama, you can do all your parent communication, photo and video sharing, messaging, portfolios, assessments, lesson planning. It is all in there for you. If you would like to learn more and see how Hi Mama can help you at your center, Morgan has posted a link in the chat and we would be happy to show you around. As well, if you do join the Hi Mama family, or maybe you already are a member of the Hi Mama family, on top of our webinars, if you didn't know, we do also offer podcasts on a weekly basis. Again, we have hundreds of activities to support you. We release articles as well. And I absolutely promise you, you will receive world-class support. I used to be on our customer support team, and I can say from firsthand experience that it is an absolutely fabulous group of humans on the other end of the phone waiting to help you make this transition at your center. As well, we are a B certified company. So what that means is that as we work with our amazing community of educators, we are also actively making a positive impact and contribution to the early childhood field. Okay, and finally, your host. If this is your first time joining us and you haven't met me before, my name is Maddie. I'm a customer advocacy specialist here at Hi Mama. I'm also one of the early childhood educators on the team, and of course, I'm your host for our webinars. Today with me, I have my lovely co-host, Morgan. Morgan, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Morgan, do you have any fun facts or anything you want to share with our audience today?
I think I'm just so excited to be here. I think this is going to be I know it's going to be an amazing webinar, and I'm so glad that you all could join us. The weather is beautiful here today. It's about 15 degrees Celsius, which is crazy. I'm hoping that I can get outside a bit later today. That's what I'm excited for.
Absolutely, me as well. It's like the first warm day we've had here in a while. Thanks so much, Morgan. Morgan will be on the chat if you have any questions at all. All right, and finally, last but absolutely not least, our special guest today, Ari. Ari is a consultant and the CEO of Childcare Provider Services. Ari, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Do you have any fun facts about you? Anything you want to share with the audience before we get started?
Fun fact, I just had a baby in September.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much for making the time for being with us when you have an infant at home with you. We're so lucky to have you, Ari.
Thank you.
All right, Ari, well, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you. So the stage is yours. I know you have an absolutely fabulous presentation today, so I don't want to take up any more time. The stage is all yours. Thanks so much, Ari.
Thank you. So I am so excited to be here. Today we're going to have fun. We're going to talk about, how to create a positive work culture within your center and increase inner motivation and joy for your staff, as well as how to create effective staff incentives and why it's so important, how to build an effective and efficient leadership team at your center, and how and why it's important to invest in the growth and development of your staff. Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. So today, you can swipe to the next slide. Today, we are going to talk about how to create positive work culture and a quality leadership team. So my name is Ari. I help childcare business owners and directors create systems and strategies that increase enrollment, find staff, and develop great leadership so that they can run their business with freedom, flexibility, and know-how. Our sister company, Childcare Professional Staffing, helps center owners find childcare professionals that they need. If you would like to visit us, you can visit www.childcareprofessionals.com. childcareproviderservices.com. So I'm going to just jump right on in and talk about leadership and work culture. So the more I study leadership, the more I understand that in order to be a leader, you have to be able to be a student. I know it sounds weird, but the honest truth is this is exactly what I had to do in order to have effective leadership. So I'm going to tell you a little story about myself. When I was 24 years old, I was literally thrown into a leadership position at a childcare center. I was an educational director in an environment that I had known my whole life from a different view. So I actually was the daughter to the owner because my mom had a center from when I was 4 years old. So after I had completed my degree in early childhood education and got my teacher certification, I became the educational director at the center. So in my head, this was going to be an easy job. Like, I'm going to get dressed, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to tell people what to do, and that's going to be about it. When I tell you guys that it threw me into shock that I didn't know that when you become a director, you also become a nurse, a psychiatrist, a social worker, a mentor, a cook, a driver, and everything else. So on top of that, I didn't know any of that. I didn't know the staff. So I surely didn't know what it was going to take to have a team of 25. When I came on site, I was totally lost. You know how it feels when you are like the first day at a new school and you don't know anybody? That's exactly how I felt. And even more so, I didn't know anyone. And even more, I didn't know the work culture that was created before I got there. So today we're going to talk a little bit about work culture, jumping right on in. So when we speak about work culture, you could go to the next slide. When you speak about work culture, we're talking about what your business encompasses as the grounds that it stands on and what it includes as far as like your values, your beliefs, and your attitude, right? So we're going to talk about good work culture versus bad work culture. So good work culture promotes growth, consistent training, promotes teamwork, acknowledges great work, has clear communication, and respects boundaries. Go to the next slide, swipe. So bad work culture, though, it lacks respect. It doesn't give employees a space to grow. There's a lot of gossip, toxic environments, no clear steps to growth within the company, and no or very little communication, right? So positive work culture promotes the values that your business is built on. Swipe again. So for example, if you have a culture of family in your center where your values are based on family, that's gonna carry out, right? So you're gonna have respect, communication, working together, uplifting each other. This will carry over from the teachers to the parents to the students. It's going to be a culture of family. So how do you build this type of positive culture? So for me, I always recommend that everybody becomes very clear on your vision. You have to know exactly what you want for your childcare center. And when you start to know what you want, you have to sit down and create the vision of what that looks like. Swipe. So you need to ask yourself a few questions, and these are the questions that will help you. On a scale of 1 to 5, how pleased are you with the team that you have right now? If you're not pleased, you need to explore why. A mentor once told me that when you keep one bad apple, you really do ruin the bunch. You can have a calm staff and one person can ruin all of that just by their attitude in your center. So the second question you need to ask yourself is, does my team embody the qualities I need to create a nurturing environment? Number 3, how many complaints am I receiving due to my team? The complaints are important. Knowing what they are is important because that is data, right? And so when you start to collect data, that helps you, data tells a story. So that helps you create different policies and procedures for your center. Number 4, in a perfect world, how does my center operate? And this is like if money was not an issue, if everything was in alignment, how would your center operate? And number 5, is my team in alignment with my vision? So once you answer these questions, you're off to a right start. So the strategy to build culture is figure out what your work culture will be built on and how you will achieve it. How will you create an environment that screams that culture in which you are trying to embody? Childcare centers run smooth when there is a sense of togetherness. So for example, when teachers actually feel like they are a part of something, they will coordinate their appointments so that they are not out at the same time. They respect the job, they respect their coworkers, and they respect the students in their classrooms. This is when they work together. So 10 ways to help your company culture is to encourage creativity, acknowledge good deeds, give bonuses or raises or days off if possible, acknowledge birthdays, team building exercises, acknowledge diversity, tell them the vision, have regular meetings, let them do some social media posts for you. So let them take over your social media a little bit. Trainings, get input about the curriculum, goal setting per classroom, and offer incentives. All right, so incentives are, they encourage the staff and motivate them to keep doing their best, right? And so there are different type of incentives that you can offer. You can swipe. So the types of incentives are like money. For example, when I say money, I'm not saying just give them money. I'm saying like if they conduct a tour that ends up converting, you can give them like $50 from the registration fee or whatever fee that you come up with. Food, provide lunch sometimes. So, you can do like lunch Friday, free lunch Friday, where you buy everybody lunch. You could do pizza Fridays. Pizza's pretty cheap anyway, where you're just showing appreciation for the work that they're doing at the center. Paid days off, gifts or gift cards, movie tickets. You can do certificates or awards or plaques for like employee of the month. You can do a special parking spot, or you can even send them to conferences paid if you can afford it, right? Incentives are also effective if you know what encourages a person. So similar to like love languages, except the physical touch, we can't do that, but people have different love languages. So maybe if I'm telling you just like acts of service, doing something nice, showing them that you're not afraid to roll up your hands and jump into a classroom. Those are things that that are incentives as well. All right. Swipe. So leadership is a big responsibility, right? And so leadership is all about your ability to lead others. Like, what does it take to lead? It takes the courage to make big decisions, even when unexpected. In a documentary called The Call to Courage, researcher Brene Brown speaks about vulnerability and leadership. She actually says that there is no leadership without vulnerability. Now, when we talk about vulnerability is like where fear meets courage, right? Giving your staff giving them the freedom to express their creativity within the classroom, showing them that you trust their decision and trust what they are doing, and that if you feel as if they're going a little off rail or they're not sure, that you're there to help them along the way. Swipe. So leadership is also about the transference of energy. So you set the tone in your center. Your attitude and energy carries over into your center and the people that you lead. So basically, if you're mad, they can feel it. If you're out of whack, any type of way, they can feel it. So you're human, but you're a business owner or a director, an admin. And for some reason, people don't put the two together. They feel like you're always going to be happy. And although, we go through things, the energy can transfer over to your staff. So they see what's going on. And sometimes what I call the Beyonce effect. So Beyonce is always smiling. We never know what's going on in her life, but she has to keep a good face all the time. So you could be going through the worst time in your life, but you're required to show up and be your best every single day. No breaks, no time, just work. And you're basically building a wall between reality and business all the time. Not only are you doing this, you are actually in that time that you're doing transference of energy, this is crazy. You are also a mentor to your teachers. So believe it or not, you'll become a mentor to your staff sometimes. So they spend a lot of time at the center. Essentially, their classrooms become like their mini apartments, basically. And your staff are human. They're going through things that they may want to talk about or they may not want to talk about. So my rule of thumb is always to be nice to everyone, because you never know what journey someone is currently going through. So I want to tell you a story about one of my staff members. For the sake of confidentiality, we're going to just call her Monica. So Monica was a lead teacher at my center, and she was in school for early childhood education. She was getting a little bit discouraged between like her personal life and her home life, and just juggling school and personal. It was just becoming a lot for her. And so Monica came to me and expressed that she was ready to just take 2 semesters off from school just so she can get herself together. We had the conversation, and I started to explain to her, like, let's sit down and strategize. Maybe there's a way that I could help you, or that we can come up with a solution so that you don't have to take 2 semesters off. We want to make sure that you are, because these decisions can affect you for the rest of your life. Monica knew that I cared. Monica knew that I was in this to win this with her, and that I understood that a lot of people that work in childcare use working at a childcare center as a stepping stone to get where they want to go in life. So a lot of people that are in early childhood education in college, they use it as a place to get experience. And then they go on to like a public school or a bigger school that has like benefits and all of those things, right? So we spoke about it. I encouraged her. We always, like, she was always, I had an open door policy at my center. My office door stayed open. I wanted it to be one of those relationships where people could come in and talk anytime they needed to. Swipe. So this is what happened. This was a result of what happened. This was an actual message that she sent me. Happy New Year. By the way, I finished school. I have to thank you for everything you have done. You were the one that sat down with me and pushed me to make the move. And that was because you believed in me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for making an impact. So what I'm telling you is this is how I knew that my leadership was really having an effect on my teachers. They knew I cared about them getting ahead, right? Swipe. So as all of this is going on and we have so many moving parts to childcare, so many moving parts, so many responsibilities, it's important that you don't forget about yourself. You have so much on your plate. You have to worry about everything and everyone else, and the time for yourself is lacking. So if you don't take care of yourself, you are going to experience what is called burnout. Swipe. So burnout is a real thing with entrepreneurs and people in positions of leadership. And among entrepreneurs, I have found that burnout is so high when it comes to the childcare industry. And sometimes the causes of burnout is lack of systems and processes, not hiring the help when you need it, money, because there's a lot of money that is exchanged with childcare. There's payroll taxes, there's utilities, there's a lease, there's insurance, all of that great stuff. Staffing and reliability. So you have everything going together, and then all of a sudden somebody calls out, and you weren't expecting to go into the center at 6:30 in the morning, but now you have to be there because they have called out, and now the whole day that you had planned now goes upside down. A decline in passion. So many center owners that I come across, they have been in this industry for so many years. It's literally like all they know, and it is the easiest thing for them to do. And so the decline in passion becomes like they want to move on, they want to do something else, but for some reason they have the feeling of next being stuck. And then also not having a team. All right, swipe. So I want to talk to you more about the importance of having systems in place that will help you run your center a little smoother. So systems, for example, the binder system. So the binder system I created at my center was like, it's a binder and it has everything that when the agencies come in to check if you are in compliance, everything is organized in a certain way. Number two, having a virtual assistant that handles your social media. I need to add that besides becoming a nurse, a psychiatrist, a mentor, and everything else, now you're in marketing. You're the head of the marketing department, and you have to figure that out as well. So having help with that. Having accountability systems so that you know what is going on in your center at all times. And then finally, using daycare software such as Hi Mama that has attendance tracking, classroom management, parent communication, daily sheets, development reports, and billing. Okay, swipe. Also, our company has a free childcare business planner, which you can download on our website under the freebies. And in the planner, you get a calendar that doesn't have any numbers on it. You get a content planning system, an accident log, a medication log, violation tracker, email content organizer, monthly goal setting, tour inquiry form, event checklist, curriculum organizer, memo draft form, contact form, and so much more. So it is absolutely free, and it's on our website, www.childcareproviderservices.com, along with plenty of other trainings that will help you with enrollment on our site. All right, swipe. So these are ways that you can grow as a leader. So growth in leadership starts with a growth mindset for yourself. So number one, become a student to your craft. If you want to lead, you have to be willing to be a student. You have to take the time to dig in deep into all the parts that a leadership consists of. Number two, get to know yourself, even if it means getting a counselor. Entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey. When you tie in many responsibilities and personalities that you are interacting with on a daily basis, it's essential that you take care of your mental and your physical health. Number three, learn to listen to understand versus listening to respond. Number four, find ways to stretch yourself. learn new concepts that will help you grow as a leader and as a person, right? Number 5, find good books. Books such as like the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, which look like this, or Managing Transitions by William Bridges and Susan Bridges. So it looks like this, all right? Also, number 6, find good documentaries to watch about things that tie into leadership. For me, I'll watch anything that has to do with Brene Brown or Tony Robbins. I just love those two. Podcasts, great ways to get information, especially when you're on the go. Number 8, lean into your skills and your motivation and your creativity. Number 9, take a deeper dive into personality types. There are some things like the DISC assessment, which tells you about different personality types and how to work alongside with them. So that's a great one too. Find a mentor or a coach. Or 11, surround yourself with people that understand your vision and align with your goals. So when I had my center, one of the main things that I did was I shared my goals and my vision with my center. I made a presentation that showed where we were and where we were going. We spoke about everything: uniforms, curriculums, teams, branding, hiring, everything. This helped the staff understand where we were going. And even if they recommended people for jobs, they knew what we were looking for based on the visions and goals that we shared with them. So leadership teams, swipe. All right, so leadership teams is usually like your admin and your team leaders in your center, swipe. They help make the decisions in your center. So just by putting a number 1 in the comments, do you have a leadership team? Just put a 1 in the comments if you have a leadership team. Nice, nice, nice. I see a lot of 1s. See a lot of 1s. That's great. All right. So why are leadership teams so important, swipe? Because you can't be everywhere or everything to everybody at all times. So swipe. The next thing that you should know is who should be on your leadership team. So the people on your team should be organized. They should understand the vision. They should be able to hold others accountable. They should be able to add value. They should be able to lead. They should be able to communicate effectively. They should be able to evaluate situations unbiased. They should be honest and accountable. And they should be able to understand vulnerability and willing to keep learning. Those are like big characteristics of people on your leadership. And if you said you had a leadership team, it's good if you can evaluate to see if they have some or most of these qualities. All right. So what to expect from your leadership team, swipe. Your leadership team should operate in alignment with the values and keep with the growth and development of your center. Swipe. So accountability is a biggie. Leadership team accountability is essential. There has to be accountability for every role on your team. So for example, if you have an operational manager, your operational manager should know the attendance, know how many call outs, know the ratio checks, supplies needed for the classroom, what needs to be ordered, so on and so forth. So they should know that this is just one piece to your puzzle, right? Your team could have the owner, the director, the operational manager, and all your team leaders, depending on the programs that you have. So maybe you have a team leader for your after school program, a team leader for your preschool program, and a team leader for your infant and toddler program. It just depends on how your business is organized, but you can make leaders that are accountable and report back as you guys report as a core team to what is going on in the center. All right, next. So don't forget to have meetings. So you need to have regular meetings with your team and keep them on track and updated with everything. So, and don't forget to incentivize your leadership team as well. So when they accomplish the goals that you had that helps the vision move forward, they have to be acknowledged, right? Because it wouldn't happen really without them, all right? So let's talk about the big mistake. What is the biggest mistake childcare centers make when it comes to staff? Just write it in the chat. I want to see what people think it is. What is the biggest mistake that childcare center owners and directors make when it comes to staff? Lack of support, gossip, appreciation, taking advantage, hiring anyone that fills a classroom, rotation, favoritism, unfair, hiring family and friends, lack of support, unfair, gossip, raise, lack of praise, mixing up in business, assuming the no, lack of communication. All right, utilizing their talent, not being able to utilize their talents. All right, so put a 1 in the chat if you're ready to know what the biggest mistake is when it comes to staff. Like, what is the biggest mistake? All right, here it is. It's so simple. The biggest mistake that we see is that once people hire, they stop training. They stop training. Training does not stop. Training does not stop. That is the biggest mistake. That once, because there's always been a high turnover rate in childcare, always. But since the pandemic, it's been heightened. And so what happens is everybody gets into this motion of just hiring, placing in the classroom because they're trying to fill spaces. One thing I'm going to always tell you is that you should always be looking at resumes. Always be prepared for resume. Have the job descriptions already ready, because you know that these are the positions that you're always going to hire for. Teacher assistant, lead teacher, director, assistant. Those should be done that way. And you should always have resumes. You should always never stop. So this is one of the biggest mistakes, right? And so we get into the cat and mouse game of, I need to hire. Oops, I'm not doing any training. Oh, need to hire. Oh, hired, not training. And people are coming in and rotating out of your program. So training and development. Swipe. As I said before, there's a high turnover rate in childcare. And I told you from the beginning, we help centers find professionals to work in their centers. So we have a list of the top 5 reasons people leave, all right? Swipe. So the top 5 reasons staff leave is lack of respect, no plan for growth, lack of training, low pay, and lack of appreciation. According to Zippia, 79% of employees quit due to lack of appreciation. All right, so staff development and training, Staff development and training helps the staff feel like they're a part of a bigger vision. They feel like they're a part of a bigger vision. So everyone should be studying and growing in their craft. So if teachers are in school for early childhood education, they should be encouraged to use what they are learning in the classroom to gain experience. They should be able to use what they are learning to gain experience. See if what they are learning and how it translates into the real world for them, right? All right, so swipe. So the benefits of training your staff is, number one, increase professionalism. Number two, each one teach one. When they learn something, they're going to pass it on to other people in that work around them. So they're going to want to teach others what they learned, or just even if they're just talking about it passively, at least they're sharing, right? They can be promoted to new positions in the center. So as they're growing, as they're learning things, as they're taking classes, as they're gaining knowledge, they are moving up the ladder. And so when you have open positions, maybe, your teacher assistant now can be a lead teacher, right? So just think about that. They have improved skill set. It improves your center reputation. It increases creativity. It sets expectation, reduces turnover, and encourages staff to get involved. I'm telling you, when staff feel like they are being encouraged, they feel like people are looking out for them, they will go the extra mile. Your marketing is going to be your staff. They're going to want to bring people in because they want everybody to experience the greatness that is going on at your center. Okay. They want that, like when you have great staff that are behind your vision and really like feed into what you have going on, they are the best. They are the best. They want to make sure that everything goes well. All right. Everything goes well. And so when we talk about, yes, staff are your best assets. When we talk about increased creativity, it's important that the staff feel as if they have the freedom and space to create with the students that are in their center, right? It's so important that they understand that they are a part of something and they are able to get excited about it. So every year at my center, we would have prom, and we would have a prom at the end of the year. The only job I was given was I was the shopper. They give me a list, I go get the stuff. And so what would happen would be that every person from every single class, and we had about 9 classrooms, every staff, they did not ask for overtime. They did not ask for pay. They would stay after work because everybody wanted to decorate for the prom. They would pick the theme. They would all vote on a theme. They would pick the theme. They would decorate the classrooms. They've had Hollywood. They had the 80s. All these different themes, just great themes that they would come up with. Nobody had to ask them to stay. They wanted to stay, right? And so that was a part of team building in a way that I didn't even have to set it up. They did it themselves. Or they would arrange to do potluck and they would arrange it for themselves, right? So just to let you know, when you have that put together and everybody comes together for one vision and one purpose, it is a beautiful thing. It's like music. Swipe. So when you talk about training, training can be a little bit expensive, right? So we have to make sure we have training on a budget. So you need to make a list of the trainings that your teachers would benefit from. So if you go around the classrooms, maybe one teacher would benefit from classroom management. The other one would benefit from like bulletin board prep. Another one would benefit from, literacy, like how to read childlike stories in a childlike way to capture attention of the children. And so just writing a list of what you see they need help with, and then looking for those specific trainings. So you can search for free trainings by connecting with companies that do early intervention or early childhood coalitions, consultants, coaches, and online you can find free and paid trainings at places like Childcare Education Institute and care courses. So today I want to wrap up by telling you guys a true story about something that happened at my center and how I knew at that moment that my leadership was working. So usually and during the summertime, my teachers and, you know, the whole school, they would go on trips every week. So 8-week program, they would have trips. And I would go on the trips every week. But this particular week, I couldn't go on the trip because we had some paperwork that had to be given in. And so I stayed behind. I had a new assistant and I told her she can go on the trip. So I packed everybody up on the bus, got everybody on the bus. She's on the bus. I got the paperwork. I headed to drop it off downtown. I got a phone call when I was opening the door to go into the building. And I just assumed that they made it to the trip. That's why they were calling to tell me. I picked up the phone and it was complete horror. It was screaming from the other side of the phone, "Help, Miss Ari, help, help, help." And let me add, my son was on the bus as well. So what had happened was the bus driver was going across the bridge and had a seizure. He was seizing while driving across the bridge and ended up hanging out of his chair. My teachers sprung into action. One teacher, she flew to the front of the bus and tried to stop the bus. The other teacher held the bus driver as he was seizing, and the other teachers decided that they were going to amend. There was no talking about it. They just sprung into action. Everybody knew what they had to do. The bus ended up stopping in the middle of the highway, and there was a tow truck driver along with a garbage truck on the side that saw what was going on. And by happenstance, the police commissioner was driving on the other side of the highway, saw what was going on, and came around. They stopped the bus. They got all the kids out of the bus in the middle of the highway, took the bus driver out and took him into an ambulance. The tow truck driver drove the bus somewhere safe. The city supplied us with a bus to take the kids back to the center. I met up with them there, and then I followed the city bus back to the center. Not to mention, I had a couple of parents on that bus. When I actually got to the center and we got all the kids in, we contacted the parents. The two parents that were on the bus came off and said, "Miss Ari, you had nothing to worry about. Your staff handled it so well." At that time, I knew that I had something special and that all the work that I had done with my staff to prepare, it worked. It worked. It worked. It was effortless. And so they just moved so it was like so cohesive, the way they moved everything. No child got hurt. Unfortunately, the bus driver passed away after, but everybody came back safe and sound. One of my teachers told me, she said, "You know what helped this whole thing? When we were on the bus, we knew what our mission was. And even though I was sitting all the way in the back of the bus, I was watching the bus driver, because our whole goal is to get there safe and get the kids back safely to the center." I want you to know that leading is a big responsibility, but the goal in leadership is that you can let your staff become who they are and take over in times of need. They can also operate at high levels and bring your center to the next level, no matter what. So with closing, swipe, I want to encourage everybody to lead with grace, right? Lead with grace. Everybody is on a journey. Everybody is on a journey, and communication and respect is needed. It's needed on every step of the way. If you communicate respectfully with your staff, trust me, they will get it and they will see that you care, and they in return will help your center grow in ways that you could never imagine. Thank you guys for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed everything being here with you guys. Thank you.
Ari, thank you so much. That was amazing. I know everyone, I don't know if you've been able to watch the chat at all. You should take a look at it right now if you can. That was fabulous. I really appreciated all the insights you shared with us and all those personal stories you shared as well. That was really insightful and beautiful to hear. Thank you so much. Ari, I'm going to give you 30 seconds or so just to catch your breath. That was a lot. Okay. Take a sip of water. Everyone, before we dive into a quick Q&A with Ari, we had a lot of really great questions come through. Due to our time, we probably will be able to get to about 1 or 2 of our questions, but we are sharing out Ari's contact information, her website, and her Instagram. If you have further questions and would like more resources about the information Ari has shared with us today, you will get those. Now, before we dive into our Q&A, as always, we have our questions of the day. So we would love to hear from you based on everything Ari has been talking about today with workplace culture and quality leadership teams. How do you feel about your current workplace environment? And I know Ari asked a similar question earlier on, but we'd love to know, do you feel like you are set up for success in your center? Are you somewhat supported? Or do you not have any resources at all that support you at your center and through your day-to-day work? And if you are interested in learning about how Hi Mama can help reduce your staff's workload and save them time by being able to do all this documentation, all your messaging right in the program, please reach out to us. Morgan will post a link in the chat and we'd be happy to show you around, show you how Hi Mama can save your staff time, and also show you how Hi Mama helps your staff feel more recognized for their work when they can share that deep learning that is happening with the parents day in and day out. Really helps deepen that understanding of parents of what's going on in the classroom and help your educators feel more valued, which I think is a really big part of feeling motivated and encouraged at work. So go ahead, let us know if this is something you would like to learn more about. Keep an eye out for that link in the chat as well. Okay, now Ari, we have a couple questions for you as well before we let you go. So at the beginning, Ari, I know you mentioned that a really important part to positive workplace culture is communicating your vision and making sure everyone is aligned in reaching those goals, which is so important. And a couple questions came through that, is it best to create your vision and then communicate that vision? Or would you recommend sitting down with your educators and creating the vision as a team?
So I feel as if you can kind of like do both, you know, like you can write your vision and then you can also sit down with your team and see what they have to say. A great book that I would recommend is this one. It's called Vivid Vision by Cameron Herold, and a remarkable tool for aligning your business around a shared vision of the future. It's a really great book, and it really speaks to the point of when you create your vision, sharing it with everybody, even the vendors that you do business with, the bank and everybody. So everybody knows what you're working towards. Mm-hmm. So I would suggest that you do one for yourself, but also include your staff to see what their goals are too, and how they align with what you're seeing for your school, and then get feedback from them, because a lot of times there are things that we're so close-minded to and that we don't even think about that they can bring their creativity to.
Absolutely. So a little bit of a hybrid then you would recommend. So as a leader, it is your responsibility to create that vision and those goals for your center, but then bringing in everyone's insight and opinion and their own learned experiences to contribute to that vision.
Yes.
Amazing. And another question that came through was, what do you think about highlighting specific staff as an incentive option? So kind of like a staff of the week or a poster board that highlights one staff a week. Is that something that you would recommend for staff incentive, or could it go the other way and lead to competition that might, not be as positive in the center?
No, I think that positive reinforcement is important. Is very important. Highlighting what the staff that are actually showing what your center is built on, and also having a wall of good deeds for your staff. So when you see your staff doing great things, taking a sticky note and saying, thank you, Miss Sarah, for helping this parent get across the street. just showing that you're watching and having that board that shows the great things are happening is a great idea as well. But definitely highlighting people that are actually doing and leading your center into the positive light. I would definitely highlight it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're so right. Highlighting those little things that maybe the educators didn't even know you saw speaks volumes, as opposed to waiting for, once every 6 months sitting down and talking about their performance or their work at the center, but showing that you do see those small ways that they're putting in extra effort. I think that's a really beautiful way to encourage educators.
Yes.
Okay. One last question for you, and we will let you go. But do you have any effective strategies for how we can motivate educators to be excited about professional development, especially for some who maybe have been in the field 20, 30 years and they're just not quite as eager for professional development opportunities anymore? How do we show the value of professional development ahead of time?
So just like everything else, letting them be a part of the process, like letting them sit down and see like what are their weaknesses, or even challenges in the classroom, or things skill set that they would like to learn more about. Sometimes when people are in roles, they just take the role and they are fearful to ask for like the next step or what would make them better. They get comfortable. And so really getting them fired up, really telling them that you believe in them and showing them that, listen, I think that you can do it. Really getting in there and showing them and making them know that their growth is a priority at your center.
Absolutely. And I guess if you can connect with them on that level of, I see this challenge that you're having, how, do you want to solve this challenge to make your life even easier? So connecting to what they need in terms of professional development.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Great point. Well, all right. Thank you so much. It was so fabulous having you on our webinar today. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here again, everybody. We will be sending out a show notes email that will have information that is also listed here on how to get in contact with Ari for Instagram, email, and website as well. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
And before we wrap up, everybody, again, thank you so much for being here with us today. That was such a fabulous webinar. I'm so glad you could all make it. Before we wrap up, just a reminder, if you are not already in contact with us on our social media accounts, please do join our Facebook Circle Time group and our Instagram account, where we do post more updates and conversations with educators as well. And if you don't listen to it yet, we do also have a preschool podcast that is absolutely fabulous. So definitely take a moment to find that. It's on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well, if you do use one of those streaming services. And what's next? All right, so next week, keep an eye out. Early next week, Monday, you will receive the show notes email with a link to the recording, the slides, and your certificate of participation. So again, if you don't see that certificate today or even tomorrow, do not fret. We are getting that certificate out to you by early next week. And now some super exciting news. Next Thursday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, Thursday, March 24th, is our 100th webinar, our 100th Hi Mama Helps webinar. Thank you so much for everyone who has been a part of our webinars for the past 100 of them. We appreciate you all so much. To celebrate this exciting milestone, we are doing a very fun giveaway. So as you can see here, if you join us live next week, you will be entered to win a $100 gift card to support you at your center. Please do join. And thank you again for everyone who has helped us reach this very exciting milestone. We appreciate you all so much for being a part of our Hi Mama Helps webinar community. Now, next week, we're talking about 5 ways to integrate phonological awareness into your classroom. We're bringing back our friends from Learning Without Tears. They're fabulous, and I'm so excited for that webinar. So please do be sure to sign up for next week for our very exciting 100th webinar. We are so excited to see you all there. Otherwise, thank you so much to all of you for taking the time out of your days to be here with us and to continue learning. We appreciate all of you, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.